Right about now, you are listening to the Legacy and Leadership Podcast.
Lyric are us.
Happier.
Still to be happy about.
You're up too old.
Job's not finished.
Legacy is what you leave behind. Leadership is how you are defined. Tomorrow, I don't know the sun gon' shine. So today, I'm trying to replenish my mind. Legacy, leader, yeah. Legacy, leaders, yeah. Legacy, leaders, yeah. Legacy,
All right. We are back at you. I am Coach Jimmy G Jr. with my homeboy Devon Watts, coming at you live in the Legacy Leader community. And this is Cold Brew and Convos with your L3G Coaches. I drank all my cold brew earlier, so I had to make some hot coffee, but I'm okay drinking coffee at like every night. So
yeah, you and me both, man. Especially because I'm trying to stay true to my commitment from our Focus for Success webinar and maintain my workout routine. So right after this, I'm gonna go for a run and then I'm gonna hit the gym, pick stuff up and put stuff down in case our listeners are curious about the get up here. Yeah, I'm looking like a sponsored athlete.
I'm sure if you're rocking like little beanies and sweaters and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's mostly because the rest of the family keeps the house extremely cold, so I just got to deal with it.
I don't know what kind of sweater you call this, but the wifey, shout out to Stacy. Miss Stacy bought me this nice sweater for Christmas. Kind of matches our colors. I
like it.
Matches the colors perfectly. So I was looking for my other Legacy and Leadership podcast sweater, and I think we need to get that out the wash. So, but this fits, this works. So I'm good. Trying to bring the excitement. I see we got a couple of people on with us. If you're here live in the Legacy Leader community, there's a link. Go ahead and click that link to StreamYard. That way you can post comments anyway, but that way we can actually see your name. Like somebody just gave us a little wave and it just tells us Facebook user. So I want to be able to know who's out there with us right now. We appreciate you guys joining us. Again, we're trying to bring the energy. It has been a crazy day. So I definitely want to give Devon an opportunity just to speak to that. Because we'd be remiss if we did not.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, just given the things that we've seen today on the television and honestly for the past kind of 12 months, and with this being a legacy leadership community, a leadership podcast, a learning group, we'd be remiss if we didn't take the time to address when we see a failure in leadership. And it's moments like this that just continue to remind you about the importance that we all play and leading within our respective communities, being good stewards of those that are around us, whether it's your family, your friends, your coworkers. Obviously this is a glaring example of what happens when there's a failure in leadership and some of the things that we've been talking about. And so it is truly my hope that the things that we've been experiencing, they serve as a catalyst for us getting closer and closer to that promise that was committed over 200 and something years ago in the Constitution around what America stands for and what America can be for all of its individuals. Clearly today, we've fallen short of that. Right. But I hold out hope. As I just consume and just kind of hear, things that are shared by people that are in this community, people that are in my personal life, right, friends, family, and just kind of their thoughts and their feelings. And, I have confidence in the future leaders of our communities and our country, these individuals that are part of this legacy leadership communities to be the standard bearers and then the torch carriers for the future.
Yeah, I think it's not hard to see, right? And if you ever wonder, what do they really mean? And we've been trying to break it down over season 1, and we'll continue to help you out with that and provide you tools and knowledge. But what does it really mean to be a leader worth following? Because you could be a leader and you can have people following you, but where are you leading them to? We have a host of examples, obviously recent history and in the past, of leaders that did really follow me now, great things, but they were super negative to the world, to their people, but they just did it, kind of with excellence, right? But the morally just was not right. So, humility is one of the big keys, and just your character overall when it comes to being a leader worth following. So, we're not, while again, we want to speak on that, briefly, we're still excited about, what we knew was going to be happening today when we woke up this morning. And we knew some of the events that were going to be happening in the country, not necessarily how it was going to turn out, but we knew that season 2, episode 24 of the Legacy and Leadership podcast was going to be dropping today, which it did. Season 2, which is titled More Than a Pod. And the title of this first episode is College versus Certifications. So, if you haven't heard the podcast, go ahead and make sure that you download it and you listen to it. Give us a like and a review. That would be fantastic on Spotify or on iTunes. But Devon had somebody reach out to him, one of our listeners and viewers, and was kind of posing some questions, which really, again, intrigued us and said, you know what, we really felt like that would be a great topic to discuss and to kind of go about seeing each other's opinions on episode 1.
Yeah, absolutely. So without giving away too much content, right? Because I definitely want to make sure that our legacy leaders, if you haven't listened to it, you take a listen or you stay tuned for the video cast that will be dropping as well. I'm on our YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed. But as I waded into the waters, the uncharted waters of Facebook, I ended up reconnecting with a friend from high school who just kind of got caught up on our journey, my journey, and started consuming the podcast content and the webinar content, and reached out with the question around how are businesses today assessing the value of college education in comparison to certifications, especially when it comes to making hiring decisions for leadership roles. And I just thought it was super, super timely. I finally caved, Melissa. And it was super, super timely. Super timely, just because of the things that we've been building out, the things that we're working towards. And so even within ourselves, right, like between the two of us, we have a diversity of educational experience and backgrounds in terms of what we bring to the table. And we've both been able to achieve some things that we can be proud of in our professional spaces. And we've also, made a lot of hiring decisions. And so I thought, it'd be great for us to, be able to break that down and speak to it. And so we do exactly that. So again, if you haven't listened, please check it out. It's worth the listen. We really kind of break down our perspective on college education versus certifications, the role that it plays when companies are making decisions around leadership, and how companies have recalibrated or reassessed their the value they place on those things over these past 15 years. So yeah, man.
Good conversation. And I think part of that even, and some other things that have transpired over the last couple of days and week, inspire what we're going to be talking about for you guys today. So it's all about asking for help, right? And how do you go about asking for help? So we have 9 tips and 3 specific action steps that we're going to be breaking down for you very, very shortly, again, to really help you, again, get better at asking for help, because it's important. When we talk about, again, being a leader worth following, I mentioned humility. Part of that humility is realizing that you can't always do everything by yourself. And if you want to be truly successful and get someplace, you're going to need help. You're going to need help. And even if you don't really feel like you need the help, like, it's just better to do it with your people and to do it together. You know what I mean? And 2 heads are always better than 1. So, I mean, I just, I remember, bro, kind of, I don't know, early 20s or whatever, maybe 27, 28, somewhere around there. Just my mom telling me, certain things, and just being very ambitious and trying to reach certain goals and get certain things done. And I know myself, and I've learned over the years, I can be, definitely a hard lesson to learn at times. I can be one of those individuals that I'm just going. And she was like, son, like, you can keep going 100 miles per hour. And if you don't slow down, you're going to turn around and realize that you're by yourself. And that is so true. And you can just accomplish so much more, again, if you realize that there's help out there. Sometimes, again, we're going to give you tips on how to go about asking for that and realizing that. And sometimes you need that. You need that additional support, especially as you're trying to level up. You're going into a new season of life. One of our Legacy Leader community members posted on the page and mentioned that as you're going into a new season, a new challenge, like you're going to need more. And to do that, you definitely are going to need help. So we were blessed, right? We were coming into season 2. We were growing this to more than just a podcast, but becoming the Legacy Leadership Learning Group, or Legacy Leader Learning Group. And we knew that everything that we wanted to be able to accomplish in 2021, we weren't going to be able to do it just the two of us and not excel to the extent that we would like, or at least give it that shot. So we brought on Rico, we brought on Mary. My wife is even helping us again. Shout out to Stacy. And we're blessed, to be able to have folks that are willing to be with us and ride out and be on this team to help us to get where we're going. But it's so important that, again, that you get the help that you need. Any thoughts on that? I'm going to go ahead and pull up the PowerPoint for us.
Yeah, while you pull up the PowerPoint for us to walk through, I just want to echo exactly what you're saying. Like for me, when I think about it, it's no different than, and again, if you guys know me, I'm going to go back to a little bit of sports, right? But as a youngin', when I was training, when I was trying to make sure that I maintained my shape for football, I remember sometimes hitting the garage or hitting the gym to lift weights, and no matter what you tell yourself or what shape you're in, you always manage to push yourself a little bit further to aiding your growth a little bit more when you have a spotter, right? And I remember the couple of times where I hit the gym or I wanted to throw some heavy weight around, and I didn't necessarily have a spotter, and I found myself sitting under a bar for a couple of those reps, looking for help, wishing I had help. Somebody to help lift this off my chest, right? But I was trying to be stubborn. I didn't need no help, right? It's only when I found out the value of being able to ask for help, the value of partnership, and what that can mean for me, whether it's being able to push myself further, whether it's being able to leverage that individual for motivation and encouragement when I was, really felt like I couldn't get out an additional rep. That's when I really started to learn the value of being able to ask for help and partnership. And I think to Melissa's point, you're absolutely right, Melissa. At times it is a very, very hard lesson to learn, but that's part of the reason why we wanted to come to this community to kind of talk through these things, because we have a couple of tips that we can share with you with our Legacy Leader community to make it a little bit easier to ask for help. Yeah, I promise I'm not laughing at you, bro. But when you said that, like, it just brought back this memory. I was in our first house. I was in our house. This was several years ago, and I was in the garage by myself, lifting some weights, doing a bench press. And I was in that same exact situation. And I'm like sitting here, like I knew my son was like in the room above the garage. And I'm sitting there trying to call him and this was like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago. So I was younger. I was like, man, I need to call my son to come save his dad. I felt super old, bro. No, man, then you have to do that roll off your chest of shame. I've done that too, yes. You have to roll it down your stomach, crack your ribs, roll it on your hips. That's so dangerous, for sure. Walk it off. Don't tell anybody about it. Use a spotter. Make sure that you get some help, even if you're in the gym. Again, get comfortable with asking for help. Absolutely. Please do so for your own self. So we all need a little bit of help now and then, right? Whether you are trying to do a bench press or you have some type of challenge, maybe you're starting to, you have a project at work, you're looking into a new business venture. Like, why do we struggle so much to ask for help? Is it because we're too stubborn? Maybe, we're afraid. Like, we just don't want to be a burden on somebody else. Regardless of what that reason is, if you need help, like asking for it is really the most direct and reasonable way to go about getting the help that you need. Whether you're overwhelmed at work, maybe you're not necessarily feeling like quite yourself, or you're just trying to, learn a new task, a new skill, asking for help, it really could change your life. Even with this, with this podcast, I've mentioned it, earlier in our first episodes at the beginning of the season that, I've been thinking about doing a podcast for several years, and just whatever reasons I didn't do it. I'm like, you know what? Again, I definitely could use the help, and I think it would just be better if I didn't do it by myself.
And, I did it with a very close friend of mine, and was blessed that you said yes. And we've been on this ride and this journey over the last several months. So it definitely can really, really change your life. Again, if you get comfortable with asking for help. So if you're ready to get comfortable, definitely stay tuned. I know that we have a few people that are live with us now. If you're live, go ahead and put it in the comments, #team live. If you watch this replay later on, still go ahead and put something in the comment, #team replay. Again, if you're with us, I just noticed this. Melissa said the visuals are hilarious right now. We're glad we could put a smile on your face, too, because I was dying as I was thinking about that in my own mind. So, number one, everyone needs help once in a while. And again, there's just nothing wrong with that. Being self-reliant, standing on your own 2 feet. I was kind of raised that way by my mom and even with my pops, just having that really strong work ethic. But I realized, again, as time progressed and I was a young man and my family was very young and we were growing, that even with my parents, it was okay for me to humble myself and realize that I can even go to them and ask my parents as a man for the help that I needed. The reality is that we all need a little help from time to time. So once you recognize and just accept this as a fact, then asking for help is just going to become a lot easier. So again, accept it, realize that everyone needs help, and that's just not a bad thing at all.
Nope, absolutely. So number 2, helping others, right? So I think what makes it easier to feel comfortable with asking help is when you start realizing that providing help is not a burden at all. So trying to be a more helpful person in general will help you realize that, right? Helping others is rewarding in its own right. You also naturally feel more open to asking for help if you're willing to give it to others, right? Because you're not asking for something that you wouldn't be willing to do yourself. Mm-hmm. And so, getting in the habit of helping others and then using that and saying, well, look, the same way I had no problem doing it, if I'm asking somebody for help and they agree to it, they have no problem providing support for me either, right? So just like the person I helped out wasn't a burden to me, I don't need to feel the guilt of being a burden to somebody else if they're willing to extend their hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a gentleman, I have a new book that I wrote, not yet, working on that, that I bought, about to read. And I was actually able to speak with the author of the book. And it was just a fantastic conversation, and just realizing, how much things we have in common, but the things that he has going on. And he asked me before I could ask him, what could I help you with? And I was kind of blown away by that. And I was like, only thing I could think of, what can I help you with? But part of that was, again, I didn't want to necessarily feel like a burden or feel like I was, asking for something. But I truly did want to offer up my services as well, to help him out. After that, though, I really felt like the Spirit was pressing upon me, no, ask him. So I will be getting back on the phone with this gentleman and having a conversation. And there's 2 things specifically that I will be asking, for, help for. So it's okay. Help others. You'll get more comfortable at it along the way. I think, number 3 is really, really important, is know exactly what you need, right? Sometimes you're struggling, you need help, and then you might be quick to ask for somebody. But then when they ask you, all right, in what specific ways can I help you? What is it that you need help with? You kind of, draw a blank because you really haven't thought about breaking everything down. Maybe there's a goal that you're trying to obtain, and you haven't necessarily set out the whole plan yet. You haven't, done the goal chunking process and broken that down into steps. Maybe that's what you need help with. But sometimes the clearer you can get with, exactly what it is that you need help with, then the easier it's going to be, right? So naturally, it's harder to ask for help when you're not 100% sure of that. And then this is also going to allow the other person, right, to figure out, can they really, honor that request, and can they really help you based on what you need and their time and their skill set and what they're able to offer.
Yep. So for number 4, think about, how do your peers ask for help, right? Using that as a best practice. Maybe you struggle with asking for help, but I'm pretty confident, especially if you are living out, kind of the things we've laid out as a legacy leader, people are naturally coming to you and they're seeking help. So how are they asking for help? How are your peers reaching out to you? How are they articulating it? Do you find yourself more willing to accept a certain approach when people are asking for help? Where maybe people lay out, kind of what their challenges are and then ask for help, as opposed to just trying to delegate work down, right? Or assign you work. So really reflecting on how people have successfully asked you for help may actually make it easier for you to create your own personalized approach and feel confident, with asking for help overall.
Yeah, sometimes I'm sure we've all had like teammates or coworkers like, man, like they can ask for help real easily. They know exactly what to do. Sometimes you feel like a burden, like, man, they don't really need that much help. But again, glean something from them, because there's something about what they've done or their person that allows them to be again ask for help so easily. Shout out to Melissa, again, MP. Number 3 is so important. If you don't provide direction as to what you need, then there's a higher chance, again, that you're going to be disappointed. Absolutely. Like, you may be asking for help, but you don't give that person specifics, and they give you help, but then it's not the type of help that you wanted, or it's not meeting the expectation because you never actually expressed fully what the expectation was, because you weren't 100% sure of what you needed. So, yep. Awesome. Listen, awesome. Number 5, don't project your feelings. When you assume someone doesn't want to help you or a burden on someone, like, just don't project your feelings onto somebody else. Don't let your inner critic, make you give up before you even ask for help. You won't know how others feel about helping you until you actually ask. It's so easy for us to allow, these thoughts to start to sprout up and have scenarios come up in our mind that are not even true. And we're just thinking that this person is going to say something or feel a particular way. Again, even the example I just gave a couple of minutes ago, I'm sure I was thinking, man, if I say something now, this gentleman might think, something or think a particular way. And I was projecting feelings, right? When before I can even say anything, again, he was sitting there and offering, how can I really help you? So don't do that, y'all. Don't project your feelings. Ask, find out, and then go from there.
Yeah, man. Avoiding that negative self-talk is key, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so number 6, being able to recognize your weakness. When you recognize and accept your own weaknesses, your own area of opportunities, you'll actually find it easier to be able to ask for help, right? So especially when you know you're struggling in maybe a specific area, it'll just feel natural to try and find somebody that's strong in that area that can help complement you. And I think that's the other thing, like when you're thinking about asking for help, is don't look at it as a mutually exclusive or one-sided relationship where you're getting all this help and not giving anything of value in return. In reality, you're probably also offering a lot in value as well. And so you need to be able to recognize that and say, okay, well, while this person is helping me in this area that I'm weak in, or I have an opportunity in, I know that I've also been able to help them in this area that they have an opportunity in. And again, those things just help to defeat some of that negative self-talk, make you feel a lot more comfortable with being able to reach out and ask for help, and build a partnership as you guys tackle whatever task you have ahead of you.
Yeah, somebody had mentioned the weakness portion, and I didn't have an opportunity to go back and change the slide over here. Weakness or area of opportunity, right? We all have areas of opportunity, but when you talk about, again, one of the characteristics of being a leader worth following, it's about that self-awareness. So I know what my weaknesses or my areas of opportunity are. And then as I get to that point where I'm trying to lead others, right? So I have a team, like I'm adding pieces to the puzzle that somebody else has strengths. Devon has strengths that I don't have, and vice versa. So, we link up because we realize that we're going to make each other stronger along the way as we continue to cover each other down.
Yep.
Number 7, asking for help. Like, it looks good. Some people are just worried that if they ask for help, like it's going to make me look like a weaker person because I'm asking for that help or for that guidance. That's just really not the case. In fact, there's some research that has shown that asking for help, it actually makes a good impression on others. And it indicates that you're really a team player who does things efficiently. as opposed to trying to do everything by yourself and falling behind, missing deadlines, or executing and turning in work that wasn't as good as it can be because you didn't seek the proper help. Or you needed help to figure some things out. And again, maybe your ego, or just, being nervous or scared, you didn't allow yourself to ask for help. And again, that just all ends in a negative situation.
Absolutely, man. I would say for this point specifically, now more than ever, as the workplace has changed, and especially from a leadership perspective, leaders that can demonstrate the ability to collaborate cross-functionally at a high level are in high demand. So if this is a skill that you can really hone and get comfortable being able to reach out to other individuals, to build strong partnerships so that you can tackle more work instead of trying to take it all on your own, again, it's going to be a good look for you. It's going to help to accelerate your career. It's going to give the team around you confidence in your ability to take on more, right? So that old mindset of, I got to be a one-stop shop for everything, it's so dated. Like, that doesn't even really have value in the workplace in terms of leadership roles anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So number 8, how important is the end result? Right. So if you're really struggling to make peace with asking for help, start with this. Start with visualizing what are you trying to accomplish? What is the ideal outcome? And think about it in very, very great detail. What does that mean for you? What does that mean for the organization? What does that mean for the individuals that will benefit from that? You really got to hold on to that image. And then after you formulated that image, ask yourself, is a couple of minutes worth of discomfort worth that end result? Yeah. And if at the end of the day, the answer to that is yes, use that as the motivation, as the fuel to overcome that discomfort, and ask for help. Because at the end of the day, you have to be more focused on the end result, the end destination, the end goal in mind, instead of the temporary discomfort or unease of asking for help.
Yeah, absolutely. MP Melissa is over here dropping golden nuggets on us. Yes. Along with number 7, if you manage leaders, especially new leaders, that it's okay to ask for help, and then they're going to learn from you on how to ask. Whether you're asking your counterparts for sure for help, maybe asking your boss, but your team knows it, or you're asking them, which has been so many times. We all know, man, leading a team, you just can't do everything by yourself. And that's why you have a team in the first place. That's why you're a part of a team, so that you can carry each other's burdens. You know what I mean? And very important. So thank you again, Melissa, for sharing. All right. So then we have number 9. Like Nike says, just do it, right? You just got to get it done. You just have to do it. The more you get comfortable asking for help, the more you do it, the more you're going to get comfortable, right? So it just has to be something that you continue to practice and do, and think about it. You may get that particular feeling, relax, take some deep breaths, kind of remain in that moment, look at that person into the eye, whether it's virtually or face to face, and ask for the help that you really need. But try to make an effort, right, to ask for help when you genuinely need it, and sometimes we don't really need the help and we're always asking, but I probably could have gotten some of those things done by myself. So pick those moments, especially depending on who you're asking. Maybe you're going to ask this individual for help, but they're very busy. They have a lot on their plate as well. So I'm going to come to you, but I'm going to come to you knowing exactly what it is that I need, all the tips that we just talked about, but I'm going to make sure that this is just the absolute right time. And then, as you continue to go that, you'll find that comfort begin to slip away. You'll get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and after a while, again, all of that will just slip away, and you'll be able to ask more often for help. So those were our 9 tips, and then we have really three action items for you guys. Some things that you can take with you. That was kind of the strategy that we laid out for you within those 9 tips. This is the tactical information. Is brainstorm your areas of opportunity. Take some time to really reflect and list all of those weaknesses or areas of opportunity. And this is going to help you feel more comfortable with asking for help in those particular areas. Who can you help, right? Sometimes we're always focused so much on ourselves. Sometimes the best thing that we can do in those situations is, look outwardly and really who's in my circle, who's out there that I can possibly bless and be helpful to? Is there anyone in your life that you can help address your weakness? Is there anything that you want that an acquaintance can help provide? And then make a list of those people, and really think about, who you can help. But again, who are those folks that that you can trust and go to? Even on one of our podcasts, I forgot the specific episode, we were talking about self-awareness, and I mentioned some questions that that I was going to ask. In my best situations, what are some words that you would use to describe me? In some of my worst or bad moments, what are some words that you would use to describe me? Well, that's a lot to take, right, and to absorb from people. So I have to make sure that I really think about who would I really trust to be able to ask that question, and know that they would honor what I was trying to do, and provide me some really good feedback. And then time to ask. You have a list of weaknesses or areas of opportunity, and then you have a list of people that can help you. Now you ask someone for help, right? The more you do this, the easier it's going to get. So brainstorm your areas of opportunity, write a list of who can actually help you, and then go to those folks and ask for the help that you need.
Yep. Well said, man. Good tips. Great tips.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So our legacy leaders, we want to get on here for about a good 30 minutes again. Hopefully you really got something out of this. We're going to package this into a nice report. We'll probably, drop that into to the community as well. Again, if you're here with us live, go ahead and put hashtag team live. If you catch the replay, go ahead and put hashtag team replay. We would greatly appreciate that. Somebody said my takeaway is definitely, let me put this up here real quick. It's definitely number 3, although sometimes the help I need is identifying how and where I need help. True.
Yeah, no, well said. I mean, I think really taking the actions that we've outlined is a helpful place to start, right? A helpful place to start. Again, brainstorming your areas of opportunities, identifying who can help you along the way, and then getting very comfortable asking, right? Whether that is with people that report directly to you, peers, or definitely your one-over manager, right? Also in what we're going to package together and drop for our legacy leader community, include some recommended reading, some recommended quick reading, specifically around this and how to get comfortable. So if you guys are actually looking for a really, really good app, I'll make a little bit of a plug here, a really good app that has some great leadership content, super quick, digestible. We're talking about 15-minute hits, because I know, especially in today's day and age, every single minute counts. The Headway app, something that I just came across, the Headway app. They have some really, really good, easily digestible, leadership and learning content that's available out there. So I strongly recommend that. So I'll take a look too to see if the recommended reading that we're going to drop here is on that app.
Yes, again, shout out to MP, best supporters, for sure. True legacy leader, rocking with the community from day one, leading the way. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Last thing I want to say too, in addition to what Yvonne just mentioned, is that, again, it's okay if you need help. This community is there for you. Let's be transparent. Let's let each other know when we need help. Ask questions. Sometimes you need a coach. Sometimes you need a mentor. It's okay to invest in yourself when you know that you need help. Again, we are giving opportunities really, really soon for you to do just that. Our Focus for Success e-learning course is going to be launching on the 18th, but we do have a giveaway. All right. So if you haven't heard, go check out. We'll put it in the show notes and the description once the video drops for this most recent episode. But if you go to episode 23, which is this teaser for season 2, you hear all about what you need to do. Follow the directions in the description on how you can get into this raffle that we're going to be doing. We're going to sponsor 4 legacy leaders that are going to get firsthand access into our first ever e-learning course, again, Focus for Success, where we're going to be giving you the strategy and the tactics, everything you need to do to really develop that laser-like focus and achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve in 2021. We're going to provide productivity secrets, drop-in tools, and things that you need to practically get things done. And then Devon has a whole video series where he's going to be breaking down distraction diffusers. So let's get rid of the distractions. Let's get the right tools that we need to be able to focus. Again, laser-like focus us achieve the goals that we want to achieve in this new year. We're going to help you get it. Again, think about investing in yourself. You should be doing that in any way possible. We are here to help, and we're going to provide as much help as we possibly can. So
Absolutely.
go to the YouTube channel, find episode 23, go into the directions, subscribe. There's a link in there. Hit the link, get yourself entered, and we'll be letting you guys know probably within about a week or so who the winners are. So again, thank you to our legacy leader community. Again, Melissa, I know for sure there's somebody else. There's a couple of people that were rocking with us live. So we appreciate you guys jumping in here with us. Hopefully everybody stay well, stay safe. Appreciate your time, everybody. God bless and stay encouraged.
Right about now, you are listening to the Legacy and Leadership Podcast.